matters most with the best value in wireless. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
That is sensational from OpTic. In through the front line, dashing! And it's Slasher! And suddenly the sweep comes in from OpTic!
That has to deal with TJ, and TJ shuts the door!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Call of Duty League action continues here, day 2. We're joined by the wonderful Chance as always, and we actually have Lottie joining us as well for this next segment. I'm excited because I never get to work with you, Lottie. It's kind of depressing. You get to work with all the fun guys on the analyst desk, but I never get to go on there. So it's great to have you. How's your day going?
Well, my day's going great, and do you know what? It just got better because I'm seeing you on my screen, I'm seeing Chance on my screen, and I'm with two fantastic people up here. So yeah, it's going really good. To be honest, I'm a little shocked at what we just saw moments ago. Yep. So that's a bit kind of a mix up there with Toronto taking that. So, but yeah, day's great. How's your day going, guys?
Honestly, good. I kind of feel the same way as you. Watching, obviously, Toronto Ultra with a bit of an upset there against Minnesota Røkkr. Chance, I know we were kind of watching that game together for the most part, but credit to Toronto.
Yeah, no, it looked like a fantastic team. And again, I think the storyline we tried to hammer in right before they started playing against New York is they had a very similar storyline of the last time we saw them play, they only lost to literally the two teams that have won the two most recent tournaments and like game 5s against both of them. They actually beat Florida in one of those. So Toronto, we have high expectations for them and they're living up to those.
Up next, OpTic Gaming LA, Paris Legion. Want to give some credit and of course a big hello to our French comrades out there leading the French broadcast. Of course, for any of you native French speakers, definitely recommend you go check that out. You can see the links on all of social right now, I believe. But moving our story forward, of course, that was a look at what we just saw. We want to talk about the next game. Chino, of course, a massive fan favorite. He's done such a good job, I feel, coming in. Lottie, have you been impressed from what you've seen from Chino so far?
I really have. I think it was really difficult. The first game we saw yesterday, Hardpoint, Chino and Kenny not doing so great in their first respawn going forward for the team. But as that series went on, I did become more and more impressed with Chino as an addition. However, really for me, the big thing is this really the fix that OpTic need? No, it's a much bigger issue right now, much bigger problem. I think throwing 5 incredibly talented individuals together isn't really always gonna form the best team. There are personality clashes, chemistry might be off, not to mention how many roles that are clashing as well at the same time. So I think that is kind of right now where I'm at with this OpTic Gaming roster. Yes, they made a great change. Is it the change they needed? Do they need more? Yes, they do.
I mean, when you look at the rumor mill, Chance, for OpTic Gaming LA, there's been so many different rumors about team changes, role changes. I know Mud Dog came out on Twitter and he was saying, you know, our performance so far hasn't been good enough. Kind of held his hands up and said, well, we're going to improve. We think we found maybe some answers to that. I mean, Chance, do you believe that maybe some of those answers have been found? Or are you kind of with Lottie there where you think there needs to be a bigger change still to come?
I'm with Lottie. I'd say like 98%. Like
no.
there is some wiggle room of like, yes, Chino. Yeah, so like Chino absolutely can make improvements for the team, but again, it's very small, like fragmental sort of changes. When Lottie is correct, there are big oversweeping chemistry issues, mentality issues, whatever it's going to be. Like the team has been down in the dumps, and like I don't have the answer for what I think the organization should have done. I think swapping in Chino, like, again, I think Pac-Man even came out and said, he's like, dude, we had to try something, right? Like, obviously things weren't working. We got to give it a shot because it's not like they can just pick up, like, Simp or, like, some random player. Like, making trades is incredibly difficult. Making efficient trades, even at that, is not an easy situation. So I'm with Lottie, but I also don't have an answer to give for the team. They really just need to log down and get it together.
It's weird because we're so far into the season and we haven't really seen many big moves, something that we're not necessarily used to as a Call of Duty community, but
I mean, Gumless is on the bench.
Has
he been
traded? When I say moves, I mean trades. We haven't seen big trades. We've seen players obviously be benched, etc. But moving things on, we'll take a look at our game field keys to victory. We'll start with OpTic Gaming LA. Chino and Quavo need to perform today. Underwhelming in respawns yesterday. I think that's definitely true. Shout out to Nameless, of course, the guy always doing the keys to victory, trying to keep everyone as educated as possible in the Call of Duty esports community. We appreciate you, Nameless. But really, it's the Paris Legion, their game fuel keys to victory, which to me are going to be very, very important. Here's what Nameless had to say. Sub needs to apply more pressure and fluster Slasher, shut him down, and it should be a piece of
You know, Ben, I've got to say,
so easy.
Just to add on a little bit there for Paris Legion too, and I think if you look at the overall stats of this team and how they've kind of flopped a little bit this season, they started off so strong, and I was really excited to see where they were going to go. Kismet was a huge part of that at the beginning. And if you look at how this has gone for this team, Kismet has really started to slack a little bit in terms of his KD. His overall KD is now 0.88, and it was way up there with Den's, and he's actually fallen below every single player on his team. I think right now they really need to focus on getting that formation back again, start to push things in the right direction and utilize their team players properly.
Honestly, completely agree.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it then, but Lottie's coming out with the daggers,
with the
calling them out. I love it.
Facts. We love to see it. Anyway, game number 1 about to get underway. Lottie, thank you so much for joining us in our pre-game analysis. In fact, wait a minute. We have a host and a game. Lottie, I want to keep you here. If you're bringing out the stats like that, Lottie.
Why not? I'll stay with you guys. I'll stay as long as you need.
That was some fantastic.
Tell me more about the
fantastic
stats.
numbers.
Hit me with it, Lottie. What do you got?
I didn't realize Kismet had fallen.
Yeah, that low.
Kind of
He's
far
right at the bottom of the pile now with his teammates, and that's just so difficult because you take a player who has been outstanding, quite frankly, right at the beginning of the season, and to see him fall short and below his team. And I don't like to point fingers and say this is the reason why they have fallen short so far halfway through, but it's definitely playing a part of that, and it could be playing a part mentally too.
I think you definitely, when you look at this Paris Legion squad, you expect to see Kismet performing at a very high standard. We'll see if maybe he can turn things around here. But obviously, Chance, we saw our game fuel keys to victory. But inside the mind of Chance here, what needs to be done for OpTic Gaming LA to win this series? Because I think, if we're being honest here, they need to get some momentum. They need to get a little bit of gas, if you will. What are you looking at in this series? Anything map-specific potentially jump out to you?
Not map specific, no. Actually, I'm going to step off screen and pull out the notebook just to see exactly what the maps
are.
Notes. I think all the maps were good. The only one that caused me concern was map 4 is going to be Cave, where OpTic are 1-3 and Paris are 4-3. And that's also where Paris 2 weeks ago, they actually looked really, really clean on Cave. They got wins over Seattle. They were pretty consistent on the map. But outside of that, I think the map pool is great. I think all of the work for OpTic to win this series had to have been done in the past, I don't know, 6 months of the game being out. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. I know for my Grubhub player to watch, I picked Slasher today. I think after yesterday, you're not really going to get much more a determined man than him. A disappointing loss. I know for him, you saw kind of his player cam reaction, just very, very disappointed. I think he knows that the team should be doing a lot better than they are, but I believe the game is actually about to get underway. Second time's the charm. Lottie, thank you so much for joining us. It's great being able to talk on stream with you about all things Call of Duty. Appreciate your insight.
Thank you, guys. Go crush this one. Go on.
Well, game number 1 about to get underway, as we said. Paris Legion versus OpTic Gaming LA, and it makes sense to start off on board with the Paris guys. For me, I feel like coming in, Chance, they might actually be the favorites.
Okay, so they actually have played each other before, and it did go to a game 5. That was all the way back in like Minnesota. It was the first series that these two teams played. Yeah, launch weekend. So at this point, I don't really know, because obviously the two conflicting storylines of Paris, they started out the year, we're like, oh, they're better than we expected. But then the past 2 tournaments they've been in, they've been losing before making it out of bracket play, so they really haven't looked great. And then OpTic, yes, the storyline has been they're losing consistently, but they still have a lot of game 5s, and like they don't look as bad as they have been. Even yesterday, another game 5. They had impressive moments, so I don't want to outright say Paris is the favorite in this series. I think it's going to be close, and I think I might actually be leaning out.
Oh, fair enough. Well, so far, so good for OpTic Gaming LA. We have to get all the time early here on the first hill. Zed looking to try and trade out. Dashi having absolutely none of it. Luca finally shuts down Chino, who's a menace top 3 pretty much for all of P1. The scrap time should go Luca's way. But if you're OpTic Gaming LA, you're very happy with how that's played out. They still have the spawns. They've locked that down for P2, and they may be able to build an even bigger lead here.
Job very well done, right? You got Chino inside the hill. That's where he wants to be. And while yes, he actually falls to his teammate again, the chemistry has been a small issue for the OpTic squad. They're still not in a terrible spot, but Paris, they're going to have 4 players effectively surging into the hard point at the same time. Dashy's the lone man. He does buy 1 before his teammates can get there, but it looks like the swarm from Paris might be
we talk about, Chino maybe needing a hot start. You want to see a little bit of improvement from yesterday. I personally think he played pretty well, all things considered, but a 7-2 start from him, exactly what you want to see from the new man coming into the green wall. Unfortunately, though, it's TJ with a slow start at 2 and 5 as Paris Legion do break in. Can TJ turn the tide of this hill? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so. And Luca, love it, parking the bus right at the very back, ready for the rotation to come through. Only finds 1. Den's looking across. Unfortunately, he doesn't find anything either. So OpTic Gaming can breathe a sigh of relief.
Whereas OpTic Gaming are going to be set up for the rotation potentially early. Obviously, Zed is attempting to cause problems, but just to touch on Chino for an extra second, yes, he goes off at a hot start, 7-2. Pretty sure he started with the M4, right? Starts out with the assault rifle. Now he switched back to that MP5, so we'll see him a little bit more aggressive. You don't expect to see those 7-2 runs very often for these sub players. Occasionally the streaks come out, but obviously not very easy.
Now on board with Dashing inside the hill. 35 seconds remaining in this hill, and OpTic Gaming once again trying to build themselves a cushion. Unfortunately for Dashi, he will drop. Chino now looking to try and play the trades. How much he could do. Slasher just having maybe one last push over towards the hill with 20 seconds left. Still fair amount of valuable time, but for Slasher, it's more about keeping Paris Legion spawning back there. Keep your eye on the minimap, though. There is one player, Zed, number 5, who has snuck through for Paris Legion. OpTic Gaming will need to hunt him down, and they'll need to do so relatively quickly here. I believe Quavo should know, just based off his spawn, that maybe there's someone over inside the hill. Doesn't matter. He's been hunted down. Good job from Chino.
And if Quavo should know something, Chino, the old duo, is going to be the man that's going to be the cleanup crew for the team. And I will say, this has been 4 hills in a row that OpTic has actually just straight up won the rotation. And I mean won the rotation fairly cleanly as well. Occasionally it can be messy, and they do not have that big of a lead. This is the type of hill they really want to hold on to and get at least, 35, 40 seconds.
They could be able to do that with 38 seconds. No one from Paris having success breaking through just yet. TJ top bridge, Quavo just beneath him. TJ will fall now. Slasher's turn to try and cherry pick a kill or 2. He'll find shots as Paris Legion just scramble across the bridge. Can they try and break in though? That's the question. Kismet with 1. Now trying to put a little bit of a bamboozle on OpTic Gaming LA, and it may have just worked. Dens might be good to claim the final 14 seconds once again, but it feels like that's what Paris Legion is consistently playing for here, the scrap time.
I mean, again, it's every single hill OpTic has won the rotation to, with the exception of this one. This is the first time we've really had a messy sort of opening towards the hard point. Obviously, Shox is going to lock down his spawns for his teammates in the back, but OpTic do get control of this hill first. Now, Paris has been very successful on breaking through these hills so far. Obviously, now the smoke's out just to make things messy. And really, at this point, no team has a real advantage.
7 to 80. Hardpoint just being contested frequently here as OpTic Gaming try to delay Paris Legion, making a bit of a comeback in this one. Denz will find 2 though, looking for number 3. Just wants to play his life. Smart stuff from him. And he may have just got away with it too. Now the player from OpTic Gaming slides through. It was Quavo. Nicely done from Denz. Again, not done on the streak. Should have maybe picked up Dashi there, but Dashi will claim a double kill for himself. And with about 20 seconds to go, Paris Legion trying to make that comeback.
And just the scrappiest of hills right now. Obviously, Denz does go off quite a bit. And in the final moments, it looks like OpTic will be able to stabilize and get those final 10 seconds. Now, this, Ben, is the first time this entire game that we have seen Paris actually win a rotation and get to the hill first and get the setup that they want to have. They got 3 players over towards construction side. They have 1 player that's dealing with the rugs push. And, well, it looks like Paris inside of the hill are surrounded for the moment. But this is the type of hill they need a good chunk of time on, Ben. And it looks like they get nothing because OpTic, again, the perfect pinch came in. They break through from construction.
Right, that was really where Paris Legion needed to close that gap, the lead that OpTic Gaming has been able to build. And now with OpTic breaking through, the question remains, can they push through and have an influence on the spawn? You're looking at Dashi potentially to be the playmaker here for OpTic Gaming. Zed will try and thrust, or maybe he's going to let him go through and then influence spawns, but instead finds the kill. Now backtracking, Luca will fall. Nice stuff from Dashi. Feels the pressure, has to stay alive.
has to stay alive, and so far so good. It's still by himself because all of his teammates are, well, either spawning out or dealing with the pressure inside of the hill. But either way, that was the first look where we have seen Paris actually win the rotation battle, and OpTic even still just batters them. They've been massively outslaying the opposition. You have every single player except for Dens negative on the side of the Paris Legion. Not an ideal setup, but hey, a full 60 right here gets you right back in the swing of things. Of course, though, you got Quavo working the back. He's got 2 teammates with him. You expect OpTic to break through with ease, and a couple moments later, it should happen.
Heard Lottie mention his stat about how his KD has been plummeting down the Paris Legion rankings, and I mean, here's a prime example of it. 10 and 21, double negative from Kismet, not what you need out of him. An explosive player, really a heartbeat, if you will, to the Paris Legion team. You need better output from him. And it's OpTic Gaming LA, 204 to 113, still 20 seconds of time here. Yes, they can't win it, but they could potentially just put this game out of reach.
And this is starting to shape up to be a tournament. Obviously, a ton of Call of Duty left to play, but it's really starting to shape up to be a tournament where a lot of the teams in the league seem to have like caught up, right? Like a lot of the teams at the bottom are starting to look better. The Subliners, Toronto Ultra have looked fantastic this weekend so far. OpTic has even looked a little bit better. Like, I think we are at the moment, or maybe a week or two past it, where everyone in the league is now very well prepared for the game. Everyone's got things figured out, so the teams at the top don't look quite as good as they were. The teams at the bottom look a little bit better. Things are starting to even out just a little bit.
And with 40 seconds left on this hill, Paris Legion do have a little bit of control, but in flies Chino. He found one. Of course, OpTic Gaming LA, they'd love to close it out here. Can you actually find the kills quick enough? That's the question. Luca will fall. 30 seconds left. Unfortunately, the contest comes through once again. They can still close it out, barely. 5 seconds of time they can afford to maybe have contested. Dashi, of course, picking up the hill time. His teammates now spawning behind. OpTic Gaming looking good.
Looking good, and just 10 seconds away, and they'll have it. And Ben, quite frankly, I expect nothing less, right? Like, this is the OpTic team again. Before coming into the series, I said I kind of just favor them over Paris Legion. It just seems like about that time where OpTic just a little bit too good. And now, of course, well, they're set up, good to go. Should win the game in this next hill. They've already got potentially not the spawns locked down, but at the very least, they have TJ in the back who, at any moment, can strike and make a play.
Snapping right there, 29 and 22. Leads the way for OpTic Gaming LA in the slaying category. A great match out of him. Unfortunately for TJ, he will fall. Luca will find himself a double potential now for what would be an incredible comeback from Paris Legion. I mean, you talk about perfect play. I mean, that's what you need to see here. The rotation is going to be so tough, but before you even get to that point, you have to lock down the hill as the pressure from OpTic Gaming comes through. The kill feed orange once again. OpTic, are you going to push it one more time, or do you just rotate? It looks like based off the arrows on the minimap, they're going to say, all right, we'll give you that final 15. It's all about the rotation. OpTic Gaming can't give this one up.
And again, you already have TJ that was locking down the spawns for new. Once again, he was the guy trying to do the dirty work and get into the back, and those are things you love to see. Of course, though, Kismet still alive, potentially to do some damage, but it looks like so far not quite enough. Paris doing a great job of keeping it scrappy. And frankly, they're in the hill, Ben. And now I'm starting to get just a little bit nervous.
A second. Again, Paris could not win it here, but that's not what it's necessarily about. Zed just slides straight past Slasher. OpTic Gaming LA. It's been a fault, really, throughout the season of them potentially being in winning positions and not closing it out. That's a gunfight you have to win if you're Zed. Quavo stays alive. 243, 215. Paris Legion still with the lead. Keep your eye on number 8. That's going to be TJ's. He tries to push through, but he doesn't win the gunfight. Again, if you're OpTic Gaming LA, you can just rotate. Admittedly, you don't want to, but there may be a time where you say, all right, we've given a lot of buddies, a lot of resources, but it's Chino, the new man, flies straight into the hill. There's the support of Quavo. Has he done enough to close out map number 1 with 10 seconds left and just 3 points needed? The answer is no. TJ, of course, is rotated, but he has so much work to do. Slasher may just try and win the game right at the end. A last-second push. Does it work? It does indeed. A veteran play call comes through to close out game 1. It got very close, but OpTic Gaming take game 1, 250 to 231.
And I was going to say, like, that there's no way, right? That was what, like 100-point lead just about that OpTic had at a certain point?
About, yeah.
I mean, it's something like that, right? It was literally like 242 to like 130 or something like that, and it was what, just 2 hills back to back where OpTic like didn't necessarily get the early rotation, but at least had someone on the team first, right? Like TJ was in the back over towards construction, and frankly, I'll say it, TJ got destroyed by Luka when he was in construction as well, but a good rotation in thereafter, and of course, at a certain point, and that was multiple hills in a row that Paris was in the bad spot, but you have to send, 2 guys off respawn to the new hill. It's one guy that has to defend old, and when OpTic is just that close, it's basically impossible. So it was a great 8 minutes, let's say, of OpTic gameplay and a great 2 minutes of Paris Legion. But either way, a dub is a dub.
Definitely a little scary towards the end, that's for sure. And as you kind of mentioned, that play call at the end is just not necessarily high risk, just a smart play from Slasher and his teammate. Not sure who it was that joined him there, but just to push that hill at the very, very last second worked out perfectly. And we'll take a look at our play of the game as well, presented by Scuff Gaming, of course. And we'll see exactly what that play is. Curious to see what was picked. I mean, with some of the great holds that we saw throughout that game, you'd imagine it'd probably be a P1 if I had to guess.
I mean, again, just the bridge holds, I think, for OpTic were on point. I'm pretty sure both times around, right? Like, the opening break, I think they had 42 seconds to Paris's maybe 4. And I think the second time around, they still outrated. Or that was the first time Paris actually out-rotated. Was that P1 on the second set of rotations, and OpTic broke through in a matter of 10, 15 seconds and then held on to every bit of scrap time after.
You think about how important that time was in the grand scheme of things. It was pretty crucial. They broke that through as quickly as they did. Again, OpTic Gaming take map 1, 250 to 231. Of course, overall, great performance from OpTic Gaming. Again, Slasher drops 36 kills, 28 deaths, a minute 22, leads the lobby in terms of kills. Over on the other side, for Paris Legion, the resurgence really came in through Luka, 29 and 24. So some good stats coming out of Paris Legion. Just a little unfortunate that they ended up towards the end of the game. There's a quick glance at our quick scope between the two teams. Of course, it is advantage Paris Legion in pretty much everything, Chance. In CDL points, in match record, and game record, they've been the better team so far.
I mean, but this is a brand new day, a brand new weekend, Ben. This is the Florida home series, man. This is where OpTic has been waiting. They marked their calendars at the start of the year. They're like, we're baiting everybody, but once we have that online match against Paris over in Florida, that's where we're going to show up and prove how good we really are. Bait. I swear that's what they wrote down in
the grand scheme of things, dude. They had this planned out in the entire season. Here's a quick glance at our maps and modes. We didn't get a chance to look at it before the series began. Of course, maps and modes presented by the U.S. Air Force. We've had game 1 done and dusted, goes in favor of OpTic Gaming. I know you mentioned Azir Cave as game 4. You highlighted that, Chance, but in terms of the rest of the maps, you still feeling confident and confident in your OpTic Gaming pick?
I am. Again, the only map that I think is, and when I say clear-cut, obviously we've been very wrong about this before, but the one that on paper seems clear-cut is Azir Cave. Paris should win that against OpTic. Other than that, who really knows, right? Like an Arklov, OpTic are 3-2 on it. We're going to, what, a 1-2 record for Paris. And not only that, Arklov, obviously a map where Sniper is going to be present. Yesterday, I think, was really the first time where, like, we felt like Dashy was Dashy. Like, I even remember, like, listening to Maven Cass and him being like, I've missed this of just, like, watching Dashy snipe, and then he hits every single shot, killing people through his smoke, just obliterating people. And it's been such a long time since we've seen, like, that level of quality out of him with the sniper play. Maybe now it's here. I don't know if he's been grinding wagers or whatever it's been, but yesterday was fantastic. This is a sniper's dream on Arklov Peak. I'm expecting big things, Ben. And for the love of God, if Kismet counter-sniping this face.
I'll always go back to launch weekend, Kismet with the sniper rifle having not a lot of success, which was funny because his teammates said, I thought he was doing great. Even Kismet kind of put his hands up and went, it wasn't the best performance, but I can say, I've seen him snipe a fair few times. He's pretty good. Curious to see, though, if he does pull it out, can he compete with the likes of Dashy? Of course, if Dashy pulls the sniper rifle out, Arklov Peak, though, tends to be pretty sniper-heavy, Chance.
Yeah, no, the Kismet joke is like, hey, he brings more value, in my opinion, of doing the zoom thing, just flanking, cutting through mid-map, being annoying, always being behind the opposition. If you want a good look at that, look at what Cammy was doing yesterday. He was fantastic on this map alone. That's the type of stuff I want to be seeing from Kismet. Leave the sniping to someone else, because these are all pro players, Ben. All of them are good snipers. Some are great, but all of them are good.
That's fair. As OpTic Gaming LA, they kick off on the attack here in round number 1. Looks like we're going to have a quick glance over towards TJ. What's he going to be up to as he pushes outskirts towards B. Zed trying to place information mid-map. Door just a little open. And unfortunately for him, he has to give that up. Didn't find a kill, but didn't die either.
Well, it looks like OpTic are actually going to be able to get control of the B site effectively. Paris Legion, they have a couple players behind it. And you see Paris are very spread out, but the actual building, well, OpTic, full control, and they get the first blood on Kismet. They've opened up the top side of the map.
Players sniping there, of course, for Paris Legion. Luke is going to be the one to snipe out. Zed finds one. Unfortunately, couldn't find more, but Dens can spring into life. And he reads Slasher as well, though. That's the question. Unfortunately for now, no. Just wants to play his life. Back off. Force up gaming to plant the bomb. Smart decision from him. As Quavo and Slasher Dashi alive for OpTic Gaming LA. You got Lucas, Shocks, and Dens up for Paris Legion. And Dashi wants to be the playmaker. He'll find Shocks and he'll give OpTic Gaming LA the advantage.
And right now, this is just the perfect setup. There is no route for Paris to get to the hill unless they gun Slasher and then they gun Dashi. And now it's Quavo saying, what the hell just happened? 1 versus 2 with 22 seconds on the clock.
From a 3v2 to a 1v2 in the blink of an eye. 2 gunfights that just don't go OpTic Gaming way. As Quavo now with 13 seconds left has to make the play. Røkkr on the bomb hill. Break the door upstairs, trying to play around the audio cue. Has he done enough to bait? There's the first. Did bomb get defused in the nick of time? I think it did. Just barely. A fraction of a second. And Paris Legion take round 1.
That is a round. That is... I mean, I think Slasher got the worst of it more so than Dashi. But that's one of the ones, if you hear one of your teammates that's dead and they make a noise so you know they're spectating you, the first thing you say is, yo, dude, my ping right now is crazy. You should have seen it. Random spike, like, right in that exact moment. So I will say OpTic had the perfect setup, and they did the perfect thing to throw it all away.
A little unfortunate, that's for sure, but... Hey, Paris Legion clutch up, and there's what Røkkr can do with the sniper rifle. Fantastic job from the Observer team, catching that just in the nick of time. Snipe on snipe action. And Zed will also find the second kill off the round. Quavo drops. Paris Legion now in a 5v3. TJ's tagged up as well. Really should be just a few moments before he falls.
We'll say don't miss, don't lose. I think Dashi barely missed the shot. Now the round is developed and it is all over. You get the first 2 kills for free. And I don't even think they really had to use too much of their, like, tacks, right? Like, obviously, they still had a couple of smokes. I think they only used maybe 1 nade to take that second player down. So, a very clean and easy couple picks and makes it your job that much easier going towards the A site. And I'm not saying OpTic is a team that would ever tilt, but if they would, those are not 2 easy rounds to have to swallow.
Pretty tough 2 rounds, but hey, we'll see if they can try and get back in the swing of things here in game 2. Good start, though. For Paris Legion. Røkkr again with the sniper rifle having a big effect. Last round, not really a massive effect in round 1. It was more so just nice plays overall from Paris Legion to bring themselves back into it. Is on board with Slasher. The start hasn't spotted anything towards B. It's a nice prediction. Instead spot, but meanwhile Quavo's pushed straight through over towards A. The trade surely will come through. So instantly back to 4v4.
TJ is going to get picked as well. Shock just making the easiest read imaginable. L trigger and wait for people to walk up the old trenches. Find yourself some free kills. Now Chino taking a near impossible gunfight. Slasher's getting picked mid-map. And once again, OpTic just falling 1 by 1. And they did not watch the flank well enough because obviously everyone died.
He'll say thank you very much. No claim about a freest kill he's ever going to get. And Search and Destroy had left Chino on his lonesome. How much he's going to be able to do. I mean, you saw just how unfavorable that fight was previously in the round. It'd be such a hard one to win. He doesn't. And Paris Legion comfortably up 3-0 here in game 2.
And just not great execution, right? Because Quavo does get that first blood, but then he's like, that rock in the trenches is always the most awkward spot because you're worried about the guy on bomb killing you as well as the guy just channeling out trenches. You just have to have some sort of like better like coordination. Either your teammate watches trenches or just don't challenge. But they got the first blood, instantly traded out, and then TJ just was free pickings for Shocks after that.
Mentioned Dashi and his sniper rifle. Here's a quick glance at what he sees. He's going to be playing defense over towards A. He actually glances over towards maybe the B cross instead. Nope, there's a nice little peek over towards A, but the smoke covers it. So for now, Paris Legion able to rotate through mid-map. And they may actually be able to get into B relatively quick here. Unfortunately for Zed, he will fall. And big problem for Paris Legion. That was bomb carry.
Yeah, Yeah, bombs down, and you actually have quite a few ARs just watching the cross to go and pick it up. So a bunch of players mid-map are going to fall. Luka might have a bit of an opening just because he found a pick over on the top side. But frankly, 35 seconds left. Everyone on Paris is super spread out. They should probably move towards the bomb.
It's Luka's responsibility to do that. Is well, sit down and enjoy watching the rest of this round. You know, left defending, which was the A site. The trade was quick. Unfortunately for Dashi, he was just a millisecond away from helping, you know, from falling. Either way, the trade came through. Now it's Luka, 1 versus 2. He should fall here any second, unless he gets away. If he kept running, maybe there was a chance. TJ hunts him down. OpTic Gaming LA will secure their first round.
Yeah, TJ just had the better angle, and now the players are going to shoot around for a bit and let that dead silence accrue just so they can have it for next round. But I will say, I think that was just played a little bit strangely from Shox and Dens, right? I think Shox might have been kind of forced to stick over around that A site, but Dens wrapped back. And again, they had, what, 38 seconds on the clock when there's 3 of them alive. The bomb is down over towards this current site, and they just didn't rotate. They just sat there and took the gunfights. It was a weird setup, and it basically guaranteed Luka is going to be in a very difficult spot. But hey, you still had a 3-round lead to work with.
Yeah, I think it was trying to maybe bait out a rotation to give Luka a free plant, and it was just one of those situations where Dashi was still up top with the sniper rifle, and he gets a very, very quick trade. So a little unfortunate, but to your point, I mean, you still have a big cushion, right? A nice little lead. I say big, not necessarily massive, but still 3-1 in favor of Paris Legion. As now OpTic Gaming back onto the attack. Actually not spotting much early on in the round here. Does that give license for OpTic to try and push straight up? Well, it does. TJ tries to make the play. Unfortunately, can't find the kill.
And keep in mind, Slasher's duty is effectively to watch flank, but the spot he's doing it from, the middle of the map, is open. It doesn't look like Paris is going to try to take advantage because you don't necessarily need to. If you're getting sniper picks, and TJ, the sniper of an MP5, to get the bounce back plus the advantage as Slasher does his job.
No respect at all. Wins the fight. Dashi, can he find the pick top window? Kismet, of course, is rotated there. He'll spot 1. That's Dens rotating in. Shox also falls. So now OpTic Gaming. The 4 versus 2. Planted as well. Dens and Kismet. I mean, they need almost a miracle here.
That might be the start of the miracle. You do have 1 pick off the guy on site, but you're going to have to find another. Looks like the hit marker exchange, and Kismet says, hey, let's jot a fall damage potentially.
Enough still alive. Still 2 versus 3. And this is going to have to deal with TJ, who's right. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to spot him. Dashi hits the snipe. The other kill comes through. OpTic Gaming win 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I'm sure stuff has been going on off camera, but I think at least on camera, Dash has only missed 1 shot so far, or at least like 1 shot of a kill he should have gotten, and that was when Luka got the pick on him just a few rounds ago. But he's getting trades on Shox over on the bomb. He's obviously getting a couple kills right there, and even the hit marker on Kismet. So again, Dashi might potentially be to the old form that we're used to seeing from him with the sniper.
Absolute phenom when he has a sniper in his hand. He'll go on a little montage spree, if nothing else. But for now, at least, Dashi sitting even 3-3. But to your point, when we've really seen him with the sniper rifle, he's had success. It's OpTic Gaming on defense here. He can try and find a first blood. Slasher, he knows Luka's there. Unfortunately for him, takes a stun to the face, has to back away.
And of course, now that that stun actually came out on Slasher, no one's going to be in that side window, so you are able to get that bomb plant down for free. Straight up 5v5 on site, and of course you saw Zed has his dead silence.
I'm ticking. 33 seconds left in the round. Of course, bomb planted, so nice to see the defuse come through, but that's a nice opening from Dens. He'll shut down TJ. Dashi looking to try and find the snipe. It's going to be unsuccessful. There's the audio cue. There's no way Dashi can make a play from there. Leaves Slasher for the 1v5, and 15 seconds left. Nowhere near the bomb, of course. No chance whatsoever. Tagged up before we even got to the window. Paris Legion close out the round 4-2.
And that seems like a pretty important round for Paris to get, right? You have the 3-0 lead, bounce back from OpTic, they get 2 in a row, and then you get the clean and comfortable round where I think, maybe 1 player from Paris fell the entire exchange. you get the bounce back, you get a little bit of confidence, you get and breathe a sigh of relief and get some of the momentum back in your favor. Of course, now though, OpTic back on the attack. I'm actually pretty curious as to see where they're going to end up going. They've shown a couple different looks on offense. I've assumed the standard for them is just going to the A site. I think it was, what, the very first time we saw them, they showed a B look. Ever since then, it's been nothing but the A site, and as we expect, Slasher, the man responsible for the flank, where there's nothing. Paris at 5-stack the A site.
Gonna get a first blood as well. The trades do come through, so advantage Paris Legion. Find themselves now a 4 versus 3. Kismet wanted to push through, but Røkkr over the top. They'll find one. Bravo does shut Kismet down, as eventually he wanted to push through. 2v3. Slasher, of course, making his way over towards Quavo, who finds himself a second. There's Slasher coming in! Cleanup crew for mid-map. A round which, honestly, looks so favorable for Paris Legion until Slasher gets there just in the nick of time. Quavo putting in a big shift that round as well. But it is Slasher with the final 2 kills.
And I think, honestly, that's one, good decision-making from Slasher, and then I think just good communication coming out from OpTic, right? It's a tricky role being the flank man, especially on a map like Arklov Peak, because you have to watch the mid-map push, the full flank, which could take 45 seconds, and there's 18 different spots where you can choose to watch it from. As soon as his teammates called out of, like, hey, this is how many nades and stuns we've seen, their whole team is here. Slasher wastes no time. He comes back, cuts through mid to still watch the halfway flank, and then to make sure he can be there with his teammates. So putting on for his city potentially. Ben, this is his OpTic now. Those are his words, not mine. Great
performance in game 1 and a solid performance thus far. We're now the Slasher in map 2. Problem is, OpTic still down 4-3. DJ will find a first blood. Dead that drops. Chino follows that up with a pick onto Sharks as well. So massive man advantage. Quavo finds Kismet. Finally, Paris respond with a kill in this round. Unfortunately for them, 2v4.
2v4, bomb down, and TJ, he showed himself on the flank a little bit earlier. That's what Denz is concerned about. So him and Luca trying to wrap back to find TJ, and you can see what TJ's doing. Nothing. He's just hanging out and waiting for the wrap back. So OpTic Gaming right now, the perfect setup, so long as they don't throw their life away, which it is 2 players now trying to deal with TJ. You see the sniper glint, and you leave TJ right now playing
smart.
it perfectly.
You just want to buy yourself a little bit of time there. Get your teammates into a position to maybe help make a play. EJ just being such a nuisance, and with 14 seconds left, OpTic Gaming LA have done such a good job. There's the final pick. Comes in the form of the snipe. OpTic Gaming tie things up.
Yeah, and that is job done by whoever the players were off the rip that were getting the picks. I think Chino had one with the nade. I think Quavo, excuse me, not Kenny, found one with his gun.
Same
but then
person,
after that, it was TJ
name.
making sure. I got it. Let's not talk about that, man. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about how great TJ was right there. Not getting killed. Just fantastic job running away from gunfights and staying alive.
And it's smart, not over-challenging, right? You just don't want to give that round up to any potential chance of Paris winning. Backs up a couple of times, buys his teammates a ton of time to reposition. TJ just being a nuisance. As OpTic do tie this up. 4 rounds apiece. They go back on the attack where the game is going to slow down just a little bit. Maybe looking for a first blood. Can it be in the form of Dashi? Gotta be careful. You'd assume that that's probably going to be Røkkr. He lines the shot up. Connects as well. Beautiful stuff. As Slasher also finds the pick onto Zed across the map. That's over towards the B site. He may find himself a second, or that's actually Quavo. Excuse me. He'll find a second. And the Gaming LA now just shifting into a new gear.
And this has just been back and forth of like the teams taking turns just obliterating each other in these rounds, right? It's just been pick after pick for one team. I think we've had, what, a 1 versus 2 is the closest we've gotten to a close round. But since then, just back and forth, one team bopping the other. Right now, Kismet, again, we talked about him with the sniper. Yes, he's picking it up off of Luca's body, but we still don't love to see it. Even if you can find the kills, if it's coming to this, that means the round is probably already over. Bar him pulling off something crazy.
He can hit those shots, that's for sure. He's talented with it in hand. He moves to the ego challenge that, didn't have a choice, and he wins the fight as well. Kismet forces a 1 versus 2. Player on bomb. Now you're relying heavily on what would be a crazy search and destroy clip with a sniper rifle. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he read that someone was still going to be on site. He probably thought both backed away, but it's Chino that cleans up Kismet. OpTic Gaming now find themselves at map point.
And I will say, for what it's worth, if there's 22 seconds on the clock, whatever it was, you basically have to have the sniper out and hope that you can world star somebody, because there's just not enough time to get the kills with the M4, right? Players just aren't going to peek. So I respect the attempt, but again, a hopeless situation. Now OpTic just one round away from being up 2-0 in the series, and I'm not positive about this, but it seems pretty likely. Might be the first time OpTic has gone up 2-0 this entire year. And if it has happened before, it's probably only happened.
Overswept. Either way. 5-4. One more round. We go up 2-0, like you said. They find themselves on the defensive side of things here. Kismet should fall to first blood, but no. Slasher can't clean up the kill. The nade is more of a Hail Mary. It's not going to connect. But it does keep Paris Legion pinned back for now.
Back for now, but still plenty of time to work with. 52 seconds out, and you see the smokes just trying to bait players up just a little bit. Chino pops his dead silence to move towards the bomb, but Zed finds the first blood, and there you go, Luca. Free kills for him.
Yeah, Chino trapped in the corner as well, so he will fall. TJ and Dashi for the 2v5. And they get the job done. Dashi, of course, with a sniper rifle, he's going to feel a lot of pressure towards this site very shortly. Oh, he sees the shadow of shocks. That could just be enough. There's the snipe. V4. Bomb, of course, now being planted. That should be all the information you need to know. If it isn't, that secures the information. Bomb down at A. Unfortunately for TJ, the flank is coming through, but he reads it perfectly as he finds a kill. Almost stayed alive as well. That would have been miraculous. And unfortunately, the fact he dies means Paris Legion will take the round. Nothing Dashi could do in the 1v3. If TJ does somehow stay alive there, maybe, just maybe, OpTic Gaming LA could take that. But chance, we got ourselves around 11.
Yeah, I will say, I watched enough Black Ops 4 to know that as long as Dashi and TJ are still alive on the map, there's still hope of a clutch and search and destroy no matter the situation. But either way, again, all of these rounds, it's basically been whoever gets the first blood, then finds another 2 free picks right after that. And teams have just been taking turns, running each other over. There's not much to analyze. They're just blowout rounds, so I'm hoping for a good one for the old round 11. And OpTic, by the way, who have shown A, I think maybe 4 times in a row, gone back to Old Faithful over towards the B site. And they move fast.
That's the key. They got to be quick here. You got to be decisive. You haven't spotted anything. You know Paris Legion have stacked the A site a few times already this game. Unfortunately for them, they don't get full site control. Paris are starting to wrap. There is still no one from Paris Legion inside B. Flasher, of course, will be watching that flank. DP used to say when he was on the desk, you got to plant the bomb early. When you get a bomb for free, you have to put it down, put the pressure on the other team, and it's exactly what OpTic Gaming LA have done. Paris Legion needing to defuse.
And Dent is actually an interesting spot. They know one player's on the full flank, and that shocks. They take care of him. They don't know about Dent, who just showed himself bottom. And, well, now you only got 30 seconds left on the clock, so the swarm actually needs to be on the bomb site for these Paris players.
These fights are not going to be massively important. It's going to be the fights inside the bomb site, which could decide the round. Kismet was traded out. Here's a glance at Zed. He finds one, but you got 16 seconds. Unfortunately, you don't really have time to let your health regen as Quavo peaks. No defuse for Luca. Quavo with 2. OpTic seal the deal in a round 11. They now go 2-0 up in the series.
And again, when's the last time we said OpTic are up 2-0 in the series?
Have we ever said it?
I don't know if it's happened, and if it has, definitely not. But again, even if we have, it's been a very long time, and they look pretty good. I would say Slasher have probably been the standout player for me. He looked pretty good yesterday. Had a pretty good series so far, and that's getting the monkey off the back.
Yeah, you had the one round really that comes to mind for Slasher was when he was watching mid-map, watching the flank, and he was just so proactive, so fast to assist his teammate. I believe it was Quavo in the 2 gunfights. He managed to find himself in that round. So overall, much better stuff, really. Chance from OpTic Gaming LA. I know you said that you expected them to come out and show a positive start. This is good. Admittedly, game 1 a little closer than maybe it should have been towards the end, but put that aside. Game 2, a round 11 clutch. OpTic Gaming getting some momentum here.
Getting the ball rolling. And again, it just feels like that time of year to me where like a lot of the teams have just been making those improvements, have started to catch up, and I think there's a lot more balance in the league at this point in time. So we'll see if that holds true, Ben, or we'll see if Paris can make the reverse sweep happen.
Never count Paris Legion out. They may be 2-0 down, but still plenty of action still to come this series. It's been a good one though. It's been a very, very close series. Game 1, of course, unbelievably close. Game 2, a round 11 search and destroy. can ask for much better than that. Anyway, for now, we're going to a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to be back with some domination action.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Stay connected to what matters most with the best value in wireless.
That is sensational from OpTic. In through the front line, dashing! And suddenly the sweep comes in from OpTic.
You have to deal with TJ, and TJ shuts the door.
OpTic Gaming LA currently 2-0 up in the series against Paris Legion. A great game one, of course, a round 11 search and destroy win under their belt as well. They have all the momentum now in this series. Just one more map to close things out and, of course, stay alive here in the tournament, Chance.
And obviously, Ben, you're one of the best analytical minds that we've ever had in Call of Duty. So I'm going to ask you this question. Now, OpTic obviously looks at least a little bit better, like bare minimum. How much of this credit do you give to the roster swap with Chino coming in instead of JCap versus
I don't
just
think necessarily
general
it's an ability
over
thing.
time?
You can maybe make the argument Chino's a little bit better than JCap has been performing. JCap not having his best season by any means. It's just one of those team changes that's just for morale. I think you summed it up very, very well earlier on when you said, Patma said, well, we need to try something, right? And often a team change just kind of helps with overall morale of the team. I think that's what we're really seeing here with OpTic Gaming, Chance.
No, I would agree with that, but I would also say as the caveat, and the reason why I asked this question to be a dick, of like, it's still only like, wait, they still lost their first series, and this is still series number 2, and they still have a very long way to go before I have like any non-hot take related opinions, but I know that's the hot topic, so I figured I'd throw it out there, but I agree. I agree with the
U.S. Army tactical play, but something pretty cool. We have a CDL, a COD League charm. Guys, pull out your phone. It's a QR code. Scan it. You got some free stuff in the game. That's actually kind of cool. Hold on. Can we leave that on just for a second here? Let me just, yeah. All right. Got mine. Thank you. Appreciate that from production. Leaving it on a little bit longer, but yeah, super easy. Just scan the QR code. Visit callofdutyleague.com/stay connected. Cool little charm. Who doesn't love free stuff? I love free stuff.
Free stuff is great. I mean, it depends on what you get for free. For like a charm in game, that's great. Give me all those, all the weapon skins, all that, whatever it is. Also, I'll be honest, man, I've never used a QR code before. You I vaguely know what they are, but I've never actually
scan
used
it. You just take it. It's super simple. Very, very easy stuff.
I'm not saying it's not difficult. I'm just saying I've never used one. Look, I will go back in broadcast and rewatch and find that moment.
I'm just having a look at the player cams. I feel like every single week we lose another member of OpTic Gaming LA. Slasher said, "Well, you know what? Look at the ceiling. That's what you're gonna get out of Slasher Chino, of course, the newest member. We appreciate you putting your webcam on, sir. We really do. For Paris Legion, the professionalism, we love it. All 5 players with their cam on. As game 3 about to get underway, heading over to St. Petro Domination, and Chance, this is where." For me, I think you may have been right at the very beginning. OpTic Gaming closes out 3-0.
Okay, so I will say St. Petro Dom is probably one of the more difficult Dom maps, like if you're not well prepared to get like that clear-cut win. So I won't say I'm going to count Paris Legion out yet. I will say, however, I am shocked, and I mean absolutely shocked, that Slasher does not have his camera on just a thumbs up 100% of the time. The fact that he hasn't done that yet blows my mind.
That's pretty funny.
I'm not going to let him know.
Wait, see, I know a couple of players have done some fun things with their cameras. But anyway, we digress. Game 3. Of course, now officially underway. TJ on board with him off the start. I'll shut down Kismet. Now at least be still untouched. Fortunately for TJ, as he may have thought about trying to make a play, instantly falls. Paris Legion now with a brief moment where they can hop the flag. Can they cap it though? Looks good to me. Chino, the only player who could have really stopped it, and Shox claims himself a double. Nicely done from him. In actual fact, no. Jumped off just a little too early, but teammate jumps on. He's secured.
I was going to say, Shox actually made a pretty smart play, I'd say. I think the nades were coming in on the flag, and instead of trying to stick it and get that final bit, wanted to go for map pressure and try to play for kills, because obviously his teammates need to hop on the B flag for just a half second. But either way, the early control is obviously going to go to Paris, and of course you got OpTic, though. They got big plans. You got number 6 on the minimap, Chino, already leaning towards this C flag. He's dragging at least 2 players from Paris to deal with them, and he does that, and look at what happens on the B flag. The rest of the OpTic roster are just going to secure.
Now, there's a 2-1 flag advantage for OpTic Gaming LA, as unfortunately for, I believe that was Dashi, unable to try and do much. He'll be shot in the back, and on B once again contested with A control, again fighting for B. Shox slides through for Paris Legion. Another trade comes through. Really, you're looking at Slasher for the man to maybe put a stop to this Paris Legion push for once and for all. Hops on B, clears it. Can he find Kismet though? No is the answer.
Yeah, and Slasher knows that the pressure is going to be coming out from the old hard point P1 spawns at the bottom side, and actually Den's trying to be the route man that gets paid. He's trying to make a bit of an opening on the map, and he actually finds his first kill on Dashi, and now he's going to be the player putting the pressure on the far flag, which hopefully buys his teammates time to go to secure B. Kismet is going to be the guy to try to make that happen.
Paris Legion Zed just getting underneath Slasher's aim there as well was massively beneficial. They reclaim the C flag. B still neutral as it stands. A 4-point lead here for OpTic Gaming LA. Quick glance at your stats. Kismet having a fantastic game. 11-4. Zed slow start 1-5. Luca 3-4. Dems 3-6. Performing up there as well. 9-6. So credit to him on the side of OpTic Gaming. Pretty similar stuff. Slasher at 3-5. Chino 4-6. No one really having a standout performance. As once again Paris Legion with a 2-1 flag advantage.
Toe so far. Slash actually knows all these players are going to be putting the pressure on him from the C side of things, trying to win that AR battle against Luca, but then somehow Shox in the kill feed picks up 3. Zed takes care of Slasher, and now this is actually a massive moment. They got pressure over towards A. If they get a neutral here, or again, just to even keep the pressure, this is 2 minutes that Paris have where they can run the score up like crazy.
Still to go here in the first half of this domination match. As Paris Legion have taken the lead, 51-47, still with B and C under their control, so 2 flags to 1. You're going to be feeling pretty good here if you're a Paris Legion fan.
Pretty good for
Top yellow dead. One guy's through. Make sure we care. Nice, guys. I think one guy went through C gate.
One shot line. Rinse him.
Go on top yellow.
Two line. Good shit.
I'm pumping.
He's behind the
Go. I'm gonna get fucking. I don't see anything. That's good shit. Have you got
okay, last minute. P1. Last minute. Try no way. Get some extra points.
One win doubles.
Wait, I got one. I'm just waiting for more. One more top cap right now. Slasher top cap. One's out. P1
One's out on me.
Hey, he's at line now.
Don't track. That's one A.
One shot C.
P1.
You got that kill, Luke.
Let's double this, kids.
Yeah.
I'm coming with you.
You know this, kids?
Can't be.
Later bottom.
I'm dead.
Probably one shot.
That's holding C. Nice. Good job, guys. Get to B. Get to P1.
Alright, I got
me.
All
All
C.
Nice. Good shit. I'm naming you yellow.
Tomorrow.
Make sure they don't get B, yeah?
Yeah, I'm putting B down.
Line.
I'm putting B down. Could be bottom.
Free watching P1 push out.
Okay. I'm just doubles. I'm laying next to B, by the way. I'm laying next to B.
One top AC.
What else?
Dead.
Nice shit, Luke. Good fucking half, boys. Good shit.
Good half.
Track the door.
Good job.
Let's fucking go, man. Good fucking shit.
That was your extra gaming listening there with Paris Legion to close out the first half, and it was a pretty good time to go to the listening chance because Paris pulled away at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was, about 2 minutes left on the game clock where they had the C and B flag set up and had pressure over towards A, and that's when I said the thing of like, hey, the great opportunity to run the score up. Well, OpTic dealt with that wave perfectly, but then Paris put themselves in the exact same situation once again. The comms were on point, and they get that A flag neutral / cap for just enough time. And you only need a minute, and then you run the score up like crazy. A 30-point game, which means OpTic absolutely have their work
so
out for
far. 17 and 11. Unfortunately, Zed 6 and 12, but today Zed's not going to care all that much as long as they win game 3 and stay alive in the series. If you are just tuning in, this is OpTic Gaming LA leading 2-0. Two very close games at that. And, well, this game was pretty close. Really up until Paris Legion. What a fantastic final minute 30. They built themselves a sizable lead and not too big chance, but it's a kind of approaching that point where you're like, is it maybe too much for OpTic Gaming to come back into?
I mean, absolutely not yet. I think once we get maybe below the 2-minute marker in this half, the score is still about that 30-point differential. Pressure is going to be on OpTic, but good news for them, they're still on the preferred side, let's say. They just haven't really had an opportunity to get any sort of clearance yet, but you can see the pressure game. They got a lot of bodies in and around the B flag. It seems like it's inevitable that eventually they'll be able to secure the B flag. The question is how long
to push straight through, but it's Luka. Man on a mission, it seems. Top B, he's managed to find himself 3 kills. One player who tried to push through, one player, of course, on the B flag, and you get the second on B as well. So, fantastic stuff out of him. And I'm not sure if Luka's done just yet. You'll find TJ as well. Luka on a mission.
He is living up to the metal boots sort of role. Did not want to leave either one of those windows, but again, it seemed like OpTic had enough pressure that inevitably they'll be able to get the B flag, and it's an interesting spot. They obviously have quite a bit of pressure over towards A. Dashy might be able to potentially make a play, but he's going to need to find at least 2 kills to make it happen, and there's the first one on Dent. Does get cleaned up immediately, but either way, the stasis for OpTic is here, unless, well, Zed, Route Man gets paid over towards that C flag. You want a big
clutch up for
gunfight.
OpTic Gaming LA over towards C. It's really going to be on him. Zed does fall. He was unable to capture or neutralize the home flag there for OpTic Gaming. It seems like Chicago also backtracked to clear out that flag as well. For now, OpTic Gaming still with B and C under their belt, slowly but surely chipping away at the Paris lead.
And still, the pressure from OpTic is outstanding, right? Again, Dashy's still in a situation where he is deep towards that A flag, and pairs are going to be coming off spawn repeatedly. And the bottom right corner of the map, it takes them so long to be able to cover the A flag, let alone ever having a thought about ever getting the B. So again, OpTic doesn't need to get the neutralization. They don't need the triple cap at all. If they get it, great, but they still just have so much pressure on the map. They're in a perfect spot, and now you have important gunfights going down all over the place.
Pressure on Paris Legion. Now it's just all about spawn control. You've got to be perfect here if you're OpTic Gaming. If you can hold this for 15, 20 seconds, then that should be maybe job done to bring yourself back into this lead. As you can see, Paris Legion just going to get spawn trapped coming out of P1. You've got number 9 there. That's going to be Slasher. Number 7 watching the cross as well. All the orange arrows starting to fall. OpTic Gaming LA take the lead.
And that was Quavo and Slasher making big plays as well. Again, you have to make that full retreat. When OpTic had 4 players over towards A, that's not what they want at all. They want to make sure that they at the very least hold the CB cap. They don't necessarily need that triple cap, so they wrap back, clean up everybody, and yes, Paris, actually, no, they can't even stabilize over at the A flag as OpTic just has the full map spread. They are running the gauntlet on
He's going to
Paris
try and make
right
the play,
now.
but he's spotted by Slasher, so instead has to backtrack towards B. Unfortunately for him, OpTic Gaming surrounding the B flag. Shox with a ton of work to do. He's done well to stay alive. The kill comes through inevitably. Meanwhile, Dashi still popping off over towards A, still being a nuisance. Credit to him, going on a massive spree towards the end of this game. The assistance of Chino is massive. Chino gets himself too. Paris Legion, how's the spawn trap feeling? It's not great. OpTic Gaming have steamrolled through the final few minutes of this game 3. The lead now massive. Paris with no control anywhere on the map. You can say GG on this one. OpTic Gaming LA will take this series 3-0.
And I can only imagine what the comms are like, because in this situation, Slasher, you see where he's on the minimap right now? That's where he's been pretty much this entire half while his teammates are running a rampage in the spawn. And we have seen that situation so rarely that Dashi didn't even know where to look. He's like, guys, I'm standing here. They're not where they normally are. Oh, they're even farther back in the map. Oh, dear, that is easily one of the best of St. Petro, Dom, we have seen this entire year.
I think that's probably the longest we've seen a trip cap really solidified in, and that's just credit to OpTic Gaming LA. Their spawn control and manipulation was perfect for a good 30, 45 seconds. They knew exactly where they wanted to be. They knew exactly where Paris Legion were going to be coming from, and massive credit to Chino and Dashi. Really solid stuff over at that A flag for the majority of that half. And of course, Slasher and Kenny, good job finding the kills off spawn from Paris as they're trying to push out a P1. And that, of course, is that. OpTic Gaming LA 3-0 Paris Legion.
And of course, the final scoreline, what was it, like 174 to 133? Yeah, there you go. Keep in mind, I think OpTic had, what, maybe 62, 63 points after the first half? That means they scored about 110, Ben. Somewhere around 110 points, nearly in one half. They got as many as Paris's total. Again, I don't know for sure that that's a record for a half of domination, but if it isn't, it's definitely towards the top. That was a pretty nutty stuff.
Røkkr and Shox had such a good game there for Paris Legion. 26 and 23, 24 and 17. Just finally the slow start from Zed. I mentioned he was double negative. Well, he finishes a little worse than that. 11 and 25. Seems like that just caught up to Paris Legion towards the end, unable to fight their way out of a spawn trap. And again, massive credit to OpTic Gaming LA. Don't underestimate or undervalue just how impressive that truly was. I think to Chance's point, don't think we've seen that really so far this year. Definitely not on that map either. But congratulations to OpTic Gaming LA. Chance, you were absolutely right. A great prediction from yourself. 3-0. For now, we're going to quick commercial break. When we return, we'll break it down.